Hello, and welcome to the 118th episode of Scripture in a Year, hosted by Saints Peter and Paul Orthodox Church in the Albanian Archdiocese of the OCA. Today's reading will be from the book of Job, chapters 39 to 42. Do you know the time when the wild rock goats bear young, and do you mark when the deer gives birth? Do you number the full months of childbearing, and have you relieved their pangs? Have you reared their young without fear, and have you sent away their pangs? Their young ones will break forth, they will be multiplied with offspring. They depart and do not return. Who set the wild donkey free, and who loosed his bonds? I made the wilderness his dwelling, and the salt lands his house. He scorns the great multitude of the city. He does not heed the blame of the tax collector. He will survey the mountains as his pasture, and he seeks out every green thing. Will the wild ox be willing to serve you? Will he bed by your manger? Can you bind his yoke with ropes? Or will he plow furrows for you in the field? Do you trust him because his strength is great, or will you commit your works to him? Will you trust him to bring home your seed, and gather it to your threshing floor? The wings of the falcon wave proudly, but are her wings and pinions like the kindly stork's? For the falcon leaves her eggs on the ground and warms them in the dust. She has forgotten that a foot will scatter them, or that wild animals will trample them. She hardens herself against her young ones, as though they were not hers. She labors in vain without concern, because God deprived her of wisdom, and did not endow her with understanding. When she lifts herself on high, she scorns the horse and its rider. Have you given the horse strength? Have you clothed his neck with a mane? Have you put on him a suit of armor, and made his breast glorious with courage? He paws exultingly in the valley, and goes forth with strength into the plain. He mocks at battle when he sees it, nor does he turn back from the sword. The bow and the sword rebound against him, and his rage would destroy the earth. He will not believe until the trumpet sounds, for at the blast of the trumpet he says, "Good, well done." He smells the battle from afar with its leaping and shouting. Does the hawk remain steady by your understanding and spread its rigid wings, looking toward the south? Does the eagle mount up at your command, and the vulture remain sitting over its nest on the crag of a hidden rock? From there it spies out the prey, its eyes observe from afar. Its young ones roll themselves in blood, and where the slain are, immediately they are found. Moreover, the Lord God answered Job and said, Will anyone pervert judgment with the mighty one? He who rebukes God will answer for it. Then Job answered the Lord and said, Why am I still judged and admonished? Even if I rebuke the Lord, hear such things, and am nothing. But what answer will I give to those things? I will put my hand over my mouth. I have spoken once. I will not do so a second time. The Lord yet answered Job out of the cloud and said, No, rather, gird up your waist like a man, for I will question you, and you shall answer me. Do you not reject my judgment? Do you think I have dwelt with you in any other way than might appear to you to be righteous? Have you an arm like the Lord's, or can you thunder with a voice like his? Assume now majesty and power, and clothe yourself with glory and honor. Send forth messengers with wrath, and humble every insolent man. Extinguish the arrogant man, and consume at once the ungodly. Hide them together in the earth, and fill their faces with disgrace. Then I will also admit that your own right hand can save you. But look now at the wild animals with you. They eat grass like oxen. Behold now his strength is in his loins, and his power is in the center of his stomach. He sets up his tail like a cypress. His nerves are tightly knit. His ribs are like ribs of bronze, and his backbone like bars of iron. This is the ruler of the Lord's creation, made to be mocked at by his angels. When he goes up to a rough mountain, he causes joy to the four-footed animals in Tartarus. He lies under trees of every kind, alongside the papyrus and reed and bulrush. The great trees shade him with their branches. So do the branches of the willow. If there should be a flood, he will not notice it. He is confident, though the Jordan beats against his mouth, though he takes it in his eyes, or one pierces his nose with a snare. Will you catch the serpent with a hook and put a halter about his nose? Or will you fasten a ring on his nose, or pierce his lip with a hook? Will he speak to you in prayer, softly, with the voice of a suppliant? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? Will you play with him as with a bird, or will you cage him as a sparrow for a child? Do the nations feed upon him? Will they apportion him among the nations of the Phoenicians? All the ships come together would not be able to bear the mere skin of his tail, or carry his head with the fishing vessels. Once you lay your hand on him, remembering the battle waged by his mouth, let it not be done again. Have you not seen him? Have you not wondered at what has been said of him? Do you not fear because I am prepared? Who then is able to stand against me? Who will stand against me and endure, since everything under heaven is mine? I will not be silent because of him, though because of his power one shall pity his antagonist. Who will remove his outer coat? Who may enter within the fold of his breastplate? Who will open the doors of his face with its terrible teeth all around? His entrails are as brazen plates, and the texture of his skin as a symarite stone. One part clings to another, so no air comes between them. A man will be joined to his brother. They stick together and cannot be parted. His sneezes flash forth light, and his eyes are like the appearance of the morning star. Out of his mouth go burning lights, sparks of fire shoot out. Smoke goes out of his nostrils, as from a boiling pot with fire of coals. His breath kindles coals, and a flame goes out of his mouth. Strength dwells in his neck, and destruction runs before him. The muscles of his body are joined together. They are firm on him and cannot be moved. His heart is as hard as stone, and it stands like an unyielding anvil. When he turns, he is a terror to the four-footed wild animals which leap upon the earth. Though the sword reaches him, it cannot avail, nor does spear or javelin. He regards iron as straw and bronze as rotten wood. The arrow cannot wound him. The slingstone becomes like grass to him. Hammers are regarded as straw, and he laughs at the threat of javelins. His bed is like sharp skewers, and all the gold of the sea under him is like a great amount of clay. He makes the deep boil like a brazen pot, and he regards the sea like a pot of ointment. The lowest part of the deep is as a captive. He reckons the deep as his walking range. On earth there is nothing like him, who is made to be mocked at by my angels. He beholds every high thing. He is king over all that are in the waters. Then Job answered the Lord and said, I know you can do all things, and nothing is impossible for you. For who is he who hides counsel from you? Who keeps back his words and thinks to hide them from you? Who will tell me what I knew not, things too great and wonderful which I did not know? But hear me, O Lord, that I also may speak. I will ask you, and please teach me. I have heard of you by the hearing of the ear, but now my eye sees you. Therefore I depreciate myself and waste away. I regard myself as dust and ashes. So it was, after the Lord had spoken these words to Job, that the Lord said to Eliphaz the Temanite, You have sinned, you and your two friends, for you have not spoken before me what is true, as my servant Job has. Now therefore, take for yourselves 7 bulls and 7 rams. Go to my servant Job and offer up for yourselves a burnt offering, and my servant Job shall pray for you. For I will only accept him. But for his sake I would have destroyed you, because you have not spoken what is true regarding my servant Job. So Eliphaz the Temanite, and Bildad the Shuhite, and Zophar the Naamathite went and did as the Lord commanded them, and he redeemed their sin for Job's sake. Then the Lord restored Job's losses when he prayed for his friends, and he forgave their sin. But the Lord gave Job twice as much as he had before. Then all his brothers and all his sisters heard about everything that happened to him, and they came to him. So did all who knew him from the first. They ate food and drank with him and comforted him. And they wondered at all the Lord brought upon him. Each one gave him a lamb and 4 drachms weight of uncoined gold. Now the Lord blessed the latter days of Job more than the beginning. He had 14,000 sheep, 6,000 camels, 1,000 yoke of oxen, and 1,000 donkeys. He also had 7 sons and 3 daughters. And he named the first Day, the second Cassia, and the third Amalthea's horn. In all the land there was found no women so beautiful as the daughters of Job, and their father gave them an inheritance among their brothers. After this affliction, Job lived 170 years, and all the years he lived were 248. And Job saw his children and grandchildren for 4 generations. So Job died old and full of days. It is written that he will rise with those whom the Lord resurrects. This man is described in the Syriac book as living in the land of Osistis, in the borders of Edom and Arabia. Previously his name was Jobab. He took an Arabian wife and begot a son named Enon. But he himself was the son of his father Zerah, one of the sons of Esau, and of his mother Bosorah. Thus he was the 5th son from Abraham. Now these were the kings who reigned in Edom, over which country he also ruled. First there was Balak, son of Beor, and the name of his city was Dinhabah. But after Balak there was Jobab, who is called Job. After him there was Asam, who was ruler out of the country of Teman. After him there was Adad, the son of Barad, who destroyed Midian in the plain of Moab, and the name of his city was Gethaim. Now his friends who came to him were Eliphaz of the children of Esau, king of the Temanites, Bildad, ruler of the Shuhites, and Zophar, king of the Minians. Here ends the reading for today.